What's a too-good-to-be-true moment that turned out to be completely real? I was 26, broke, and sleeping on my cousin Danny's couch in a tiny Chicago apartment that smelled like old pizza and broken dreams. I had $17 in my checking account and hadn't paid my phone bill in 2 months. Danny worked nights at a warehouse, so during the day I'd scroll through Reddit looking for literally anything to make money. That's when I saw this post that made me laugh out loud. Some guy claimed he inherited a fully paid-off mansion in rural Wisconsin but didn't want it. He said it came with utilities paid for 2 years, a fully stocked kitchen, and all the furniture. The only catch was you had to drive to some small-town lawyer's office to pick up the keys in person, and you couldn't sell the house for 5 years. The comments were roasting this guy. Everyone was calling it the most obvious scam ever. I almost scrolled past, but something made me screenshot it. When Danny got home that morning, I showed him and said, "This has to be fake, right?" He looked at me eating cereal with water because we were out of milk and said, "Dude, it's only gas money. What do you have to lose?" So we drove 2 hours to this tiny Wisconsin town called Cedar Falls. I expected to find an empty building or some sketchy guy in a parking lot. Instead, there was an actual law office with a real receptionist and everything. She handed me a clipboard with about 20 pages of paperwork. The lawyer, Mr. Davidson, looked like he stepped out of a movie. Expensive suit, fancy watch, the whole thing. He explained that Judith Morrison, an 83-year-old woman with no kids or living relatives, had died 3 months ago. Her will specifically said to give her house to someone young who'd appreciate it, not sell it to some developer. I kept waiting for the catch. Hidden fees, surprise liens, something. But he just handed me the keys to a Victorian mansion and said good luck. The house was massive, with dusty furniture covered in white sheets and oil paintings of stern-looking people in fancy clothes. Every room had these huge windows and hardwood floors that creaked when you walked. The basement had a working hot tub that looked like it belonged in a spa. The kitchen pantry was stuffed with canned goods and pasta that wouldn't expire for years. There were even wine bottles from the 1980s lined up in a cellar. I kept thinking the FBI would show up any minute, but nothing happened. I moved in with 2 garbage bags of clothes and my laptop. Got a remote job editing podcasts for $15 an hour. Zero rent meant I was suddenly saving money for the first time in my adult life. I adopted a dog from the local shelter, started a garden in the backyard, and had friends over for barbecues. The townspeople were nice but suspicious. They'd stop me at the grocery store asking if I was related to Judith. Apparently, she was this eccentric woman who fed every stray cat in town and talked about finding someone worthy of her house. She'd walk around downtown saying she wanted to help a young person get started in life. 6 months passed. I was getting comfortable, thinking this was my new normal. Then one night, I was exploring the attic and found this old chest hidden behind Christmas decorations. It was locked, but the key was taped underneath. Inside were photo albums of Judith from the 1960s when she was young and beautiful, stacks of handwritten letters to someone named Robert who apparently died in Vietnam, and at the bottom, $20,000 in crisp $100 bills wrapped in rubber bands. There was a note on top that said, "For the young person brave enough to take a chance on something that seemed too good to be true, use this to chase your dreams, just like I never got to chase mine." I sat in that dusty attic holding more money than I'd ever seen in my life, crying like a baby. It was all real.